Al-Azhar certified Surabaya. And Miss Devi also got some achievement, just like second winner of National Quranic English debate on MTQ 2009. And she is also written some of writing, just like critical thinking ability of student in debating Surabaya. And Miss, well, ladies and gentlemen, this is time for Miss Devi to present her presentations. Time is yours, Miss Devi.
Thank you very much, Miss. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Miss Devi.
Hello.
Hello.
It's really a pleasure to see all of you here. And maybe some of you are teachers. Maybe some of you are studying English. Some of you are probably parents. Whatever your professions or whatever you are now, whether you are students or whether you are teachers or whether you are lecturers, probably, hopefully we can get the best benefits of the meeting. I'm not going to give you a lot of theories because theories are something you can read a lot from the internet, especially now. But I'm going to deliver more on how teachers today have to be, probably not have to be, but the demand of English teachers at the moment, especially the trend of English teachers in the current situation related to the globalization and also the pandemic era where every teacher has to be creative, including English teacher. So what I'm going to tell you today is a lot more from my experience, what I see, what I experience, and whatever I think about becoming English teacher in 21st century learning. All right, shall we start? Let me introduce you first about myself. My full name is Eka Devi Mayasari. I'm currently an English teacher and a vice principal in SD Islam Al-Azhar 35 Surabaya. You probably question where is the school. If you go to Surabaya, you probably know Kenjeran or Suramadu Bridge. Who have been to Kenjeran? Or who know Kenjeran? Yeah, my school is located just like 5 minutes from Kenjeran, so it's quite close. From Kenjeran, you will see a housing complex called Pakuwon City, and my school is inside the housing complex. Yeah, so if you go to Kenjeran, you can find SD Islam Al-Azhar 35. It's in the same location with the primary, with junior high and also TK. So we call it as Campus Al-Azhar Pakuwon City. It's just 5 minutes from Kenjeran, so it's quite close. If you have a chance, you can come and visit the school. However, the school is closed now because of pandemic, but I'm at school now without the students. We do not have students come to the school yet, so all of the learning process is carried out online. That's short information about me. And I've been teaching in this school for 10 years. This is my 10th year of becoming a teacher in the same school here. All right, before I talk more about anything, I'm going to show you a video. And this video is taken from the learning from the classroom of primary 5. We have 3 classes in primary 5. And what you're going to see is not English lesson. This is taken from the combination of some subjects, including IPA, Bahasa Jawa or Javanese. We also have Javanese. There's also English in the video. So it's a combination of online learning that we do now. Let's take a look. Sorry, wait.
child. I want everyone to do this practice, ya. A simple practice, ya. Oke, kita tinggal sama-sama. Oke, kiri. Thank you very much. Ya, our time is almost up for break time.
Rasanya legi lan gurih.
Matur nuwun, boleh donat saja, boleh donat coklat. Gedung ono kan digawe saka telo, ada juga yang dari ketelo.
Lumpia.
Lumpia. Ini tempe yang digoreng dengan tepung.
Okay, so this is your materials. Cambridge Primary Checkpoint, English as a second language. Okay, now you can mute your audio again. Primary is your school, you are primary. And then checkpoint is the test. There are two types of checkpoint, and you will get it in primary 5 and primary 6.
This time you will learn about when we have daytime and nighttime in the earth. If we go to the sun, so it will be night, day, so it is sun, sunrise.
Okay, so let's try to talk before we start. What do you see from the video? What can you conclude about the classroom situation? Although it's online, what can you see from the classroom? Please feel free to speak up if you want to give comment about the classroom. You may use English or Bahasa. Anyone?
Well, maybe the classroom is about the situation of the activity in the classroom, the interaction between the teacher and the student, not only the students active in the class, but also the teacher motivating the student to be active. Is it right, Ms. Devi?
Okay, thank you very much. Sorry, what's your name? What's your name?
My name is Dwi, Ms. Devi.
Oh, sorry, you're the moderator. Sorry, I thought from the participant. Thank you, Ms. Dwi. How about the participant? Is there any comment from the participant about the class situation?
Iya, komen terus. Ada yang
Yes, your name, please.
Nurjana.
Yeah. So what do you want to say about the classroom?
Nurjana?
Yes,
Jana, yeah.
I think I can see in the from your video, I see even we are in the online learning, they are still active. They are interested to learn with the teachers.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, you mentioned about the situation of online class. What I want to say is that despite the online class, it doesn't mean that we cannot make a good interaction between students and teachers. Yeah, the interaction can still happen despite the situation of the pandemic. And if you notice, there was one student said, ya nggak apa-apa biar orang tuanya yang balas dendam. Nah, itu adalah hal-hal yang sometimes it will come up from the students. You can be surprised how students can give a reaction towards something. If we as teachers cannot handle this kind of statements or questions, this can be something wrong for the students, right? And this is the students of 21st century. They are critical, they are full of information, and sometimes they want to give problem solving, but then we have to direct them. But what you see in the video is just small examples of today's students. They're just primary students, but you can see that they're not afraid to speak up. They are not afraid to say what's on their mind. When they mention, for example, one student, okay, let the parents take care of it. Let the parents do the revenge, for example. How will you handle? You're not going to let this to happen, right? You have to tell him what to do and what not to do. And it's related to the character building that was mentioned by tadi di pembukaan oleh Bapak Wakil Rektor. Yeah. So this is probably the portrait of 21st century learning. They are exposed to a lot of information. And especially now with the online situation, they can easily get information from their gadget, from television, for example. They probably read what we read from the news. They probably know what we know, and probably they know what we don't know. That is today's students, yeah. And some of them are probably quite shy, but some of them are very expressive and just going to say what they want to say. And these are the characteristics of students we are facing right now, and the students that you're going to face, the students that will be in your era when you graduate from university, for example. So critical thinking is something that is the character of the 21st century learners. Communication. You mentioned about engagement between teachers and students. Yes, this is the characteristics of modern classroom. Not only the teacher speaks a lot of things, but also the students. That's why also now I do not wait until the question and answer session, but I want you to also engage in the classroom. Please feel free to give comment, or if you wanna share something later. Yeah, innovation. You know Gojek. Gojek is the result of innovation, and you see the impact of Gojek now. It's in our everyday life. It's like now we cannot live without Gojek. Now I'm at school, I do not have the canteen open. What can I do? Gojek, GoFood, that's all. Creativity. Sometimes the students can be creative. With the games they play, they know a lot more things than we do. They know a lot of problem solving in solving some problems that they see in the game compared to us. So to balance this learners, we need to upgrade ourselves, especially we English teachers. We also need to upgrade ourselves, not only in terms of the English skills, but also these characters to balance the students. So why English? Well, in the past, maybe we thought that English is only a means of communication when we meet strangers in Jogja, when we meet foreigners in Bali, for example. But English today develops really, really fast and rapid. For example, this is what primary students can do. This is what my students did like 2 or 3 years ago. So we created a drama, and they performed through digital drama in English. So we use 3 languages here: English, Indonesian, and some Arabic. And then competition, sometimes we do join the competitions, and today's competition in English really developed. If you see MUN, if you see the World Scholars Cup, the students really have opportunity to meet students not only from other schools from the same city, but also students from other countries, and that is becoming more possible. This is me when I was accompanying my students in Kuala Lumpur in 2018. And another needs, for example, for traveling. But you may not forget that some students will also need their English for tests, for jobs. And don't forget also that we have competitions in the future. Yeah. Our students in the future, they will have to struggle to get a job with people from other country who will easily come to our country, and our students will also have possibility easily to go to other country. So we have to prepare them to be ready in facing this situation. The engagement between countries are becoming higher. The exposure of English is becoming higher. The needs of English are also higher. So this is the role of we English teachers to prepare them. So let's now talk about teaching in English in the 21st century. Why do I say teaching in English, not teaching English? Because let me tell you a bit, like in my school, again, I will bring up about my school because this is what I know. In my school, we do not only teach English by using English. And not only that, we don't only use English in English class, because we also use international curriculum, which is Cambridge. We also use English to teach particular subjects like math or science or IT, or even for other subjects with simple English. So this is the trend now, at least in Surabaya or big cities like Jakarta, Medan, for example. The number of schools using international curriculum is higher. And that is why the use of English is also becoming higher, not only for English lessons. So can you imagine, for example, we want to hire a teacher for teaching math. Of course, we will require a math teacher who can speak English. Now, how about English teacher? If this math teacher is good at English, of course, English teachers should be even better, right? It's not funny if the math teacher can do English better than the English teacher. So this is the time for English teacher in 21st century to also prove themselves, including me. Yeah, so when we talk about teaching English, there are so many aspects that we have to see, not only our skill of English. It's not enough to be only smart in English, because Google can provide everything for our students. If you want to know the meaning of a word, Google will give it to you. If you want to know a particular hard English test, for example, Google also have it for you. But that is not teacher. So to be an English teacher, especially in the modern era, we need a combination of skills. First of all, of course, as an English teacher, we have to be good in English proficiency, not only particularly in English, but also in academic proficiency. And then don't forget, because we are teachers, we have to be good in pedagogical proficiency, the knowledge of teaching, the methods of teaching. Your knowledge will be transferred through the students with good method. If you don't use the right method, whatever in your mind will not be delivered well to the students, right? And the last one, this is the trend now, like what you saw in the video, digital proficiency. It's like if teachers today do not master digital proficiency, it's like useless now. Because you cannot teach the students. Like what happened in my school, all of the materials are delivered through digital platforms. We do not meet students face to face. So teachers must have the mastery of digital world. Okay, let's take a look here. Academic English proficiency. If you want to teach English, you have to be good at English. That's the simple one. Especially in today's school, there are so many tests to be offered to the students. For example, this is what is used in our school for English Cambridge. Our young learners will have this test. And then in the higher level, we will have different tests. So as English teachers, of course, we have to know how the students can be ready for this. And we have to have that academic English proficiency, which is the knowledge of English and the skills to explain, represent, and demonstrate subject matters concept. This concept is something that is complicated, yeah. And as teacher, we have to be able to make this concept delivered to the student in our way. If we do not have this, well, we are just fault for ourselves. A teacher has to know how to deliver the complex material to the student, because the student can ask you a lot of questions. And if you don't know how to answer, at least you know how to postpone to answer it, right? Also, to adapt English-based instructional materials. Nah, adaptation is something that is important in modern learning because first, the changing of the curriculum is really fast. Also, the coming of international exposure. Yeah, for example, if I talk about Cambridge curriculum, in 2018, they also changed the test for the students. They no longer put grammar in the test. This is something that is also mastered by the teacher. This very quick changing is one of the skill that has to be owned by English teacher in the modern era because the changing of curriculum, the rapid movement of tests is also there. Okay, if we talk about pedagogy, we talk about methods, how we can deliver whatever in our mind with the correct method so the students will get what they want. Yeah, I want to show you the letter. This is a letter from my student. I want you to notice this part. You see this word? He mentioned that I motivated him to be good writer, good reader, good debater. Yeah, I teach debate also to my students in primary. I believe that debate can be complicated for primary level students, right? But when the students can feel that they can do it, that is how you can say that my way of teaching is effective. Debate is a really high level of skill, but when we can deliver it to the students and they even can feel that, okay, I can do it, that is the pedagogical proficiency that you have. Yeah, you know how to teach speaking, you know how to teach writing, and you know how to support the students in learning. That is very important. If, for example, you have this, say, 3.8 GPA, then of course you are a very smart student. But whether or not you can deliver what you know to the students in the right way or in the ideal class, that is another way. That is your pedagogical skill. You have to learn about methods of teaching. You have to know how to differentiate between teaching young learners, adult learners, teenagers. Every level of students have different characteristics, and to pick up the right method is another job of teacher. Yeah. There are so many methods of teaching, but let me tell you this. Last month, our school had Cambridge accreditation. We had school reapproval visit from Cambridge, and I was one of the teachers to be interviewed by the assessor at that time. Among the 4 teachers to be interviewed, one of his questions was, how do you teach your students? A friend of mine who got that question answered, I use this, I use that, and I use this. Okay, he said, okay with that. But then he reminded us this one. No matter how modern or how many methods that you use in teaching, traditional method sometimes has to be there. Yeah. So it doesn't mean that you always have to use those all modern methods. It's still okay to use traditional method where teacher speaks up, but just know the portion and just know what method is suitable for a particular topic. That is the art of teaching, to break down the materials, to pick up the right method or technique to teach that adjust the learners, that adjust the age, that adjust the class, because some classes have really active students, but some classes also have shy students, and this is also need adjustment. You don't teach different students with the same way. That's the key. And now, digital proficiency. Of course, it's a must now, especially for schools who have remote teaching like my school. Yeah, there are, well, if I tell you my experience last academic year, it was so hard for us. If you remember, it was around February when we got the information that everyone has to study at home. You know what happened to us? We were shocked. We didn't know what to do. And that time, what we did was only giving a lot of assignments to the students and they have to submit, and then giving another assignment and they have to submit. That happened for like 2 or 3 months. But then we realized we cannot do it over and over. We have to think of something that is more effective and can accommodate the students to get the proper learning. And then in the beginning of academic year, we decided to use Google Classroom and Google Meet that allows us to interact with the students every day. And then we arrange the curriculum and then we arrange the schedule and everything. That the system was built. You see, this really quick adaptation is another skill that we must have. We do not know what happened in the future. Maybe the classrooms will be changed into more digital. We don't know. But whatever the changing is, we have to be ready and we have to engage. Because if you do not engage, the students are sacrificed because they cannot get their rights to get a good education. But I know that this is a challenge in many places, especially in particular areas of Indonesia. But if you do have chance or if you do have opportunity to use digital platforms to support your students to learn, please do. Please try. Please apply so your students can get the best support that they need. So these are some digital platforms that we use in the school, in my school. We use Google Classroom. Sometimes we use this spin the wheel. Teachers in lower grades like primary 1, 2, or 3 like to use this because they are colorful and make the students waiting. What's coming next? What's coming next? And for the test, we use Testmost. So some teachers also use Whiteboard.fi. This allows the students to have their whiteboards and the teacher can control what the students write on the whiteboard, for all of the students. Sometimes we also use Quizlet for quiz and flashcard. You can try these apps if you haven't, and you can try to use this for the students or maybe for your own to save your topics, your materials of learning. It will also help you to study. Sometimes I do study by using Quizlet. Yeah. I will try now to use one of the platforms here. We will try to use whiteboard.fi. This is how we will do it. Everyone, please try. I want to know your feeling. Yeah, you just need to draw a face that represents your feeling. Yeah, you will have your own whiteboard from the link that I sent to the chat. I will send a link to the chat and then you can open the link and write your name on it. After you write your name on it, your whiteboard will appear on your device and you can draw. We will see what you draw on the screen here. Are you ready? Okay. Now let's try. Okay, if you want to use it, you can just open whiteboard.fi. This is what we did. And now I will send you a link to the chat so you can participate in the whiteboard. Please draw your screen. Wait, sorry, how can I send the chat? Where can I send the chat? Okay, there you go. Okay, everyone, you can now open your chat. try to open the link and then write your name. Like this. Your name will appear here, Fakultas Sastra or Yusuf. Now, after you write your name, you have the whiteboard with you. Please draw a face that shows your feeling at the moment. Now we see from Amelia. Okay, see if you can draw. Draw your face containing your feeling. Amelia, what kind of feeling is it? Can you say what feeling is it? You can unmute your audio. Say, how do you feel? Tell me how you feel. We can see Agus Solihin. I don't see the mouth, Agus Solihin. You don't have mouth? Okay. Very white laugh. Dwi is smiling. Okay, Agus Solihin is adding ears. Dwi looks pretty with the hair accessories. Agus Solihin is becoming more complicated on the hair. What happened with your hair? Sabrina, I see only eyes. Oh, Amelia put icon. Oh, I think this is new. I don't even know where to use it. I never use this kind of icon. Nice. Sabrina is good at drawing, smiling. Engage in the presentation from Umi. A signature. Wow. Can I use your signature to take money from the bank? Must spell Natasi right? Okay, the others, please show your feeling. Click the link on the chat, write your name, and draw your face. Oh, Labib. Labib feels flat. Don't give me donuts. Give me your face and your feeling. Yeah, guys, you see, if you teach young learners, for example, even university students or senior high school students, you can use this app. It's very simple. The students do not need to register and you can just see it on the screen. Okay, let's take another 2 minutes to see everyone's feeling here. You want to draw anything? Okay. Oh, Siti Nur Hamida is singing. You look so happy. Oh, sleepy. Sorry, you're sleepy and singing. Melissa. Okay, I don't know why your mouth is there. Maybe you're smiling to the left. Karen is smiling. Okay, some of you use emoticon. It's interesting. Okay. All right, so basically this is the example of how to use whiteboard.fi. Very simple, just type whiteboard.fi and then click you as classroom or individual, then you can use it. Actually, if you use Google Meet, now Google Meet also has the Jamboard. It has whiteboard on the menu. You can also use it, but maybe to engage more with the students where everyone can use it, you can also use this and you can show it to your students. Yeah, it's very interesting. And my students in lower grades love it so much. Sometimes they also type here, but it takes quite time. Labib is in love. Okay. All right. So that's one of the platform you can use to teach English, for example, talking about feeling, or sometimes we use it for true or false, you see? you give the students question and then ask them to write whether it is true or false. And then Google Classroom. Let me show you the Google Classroom that I use in the class. Okay, so this is the Google Classroom that we use. We have primary 1 until primary 6. Yeah, so all of the classrooms are here. I can check what's in every class, and this is my class, English class. With Google Classroom, it allows the students to have the materials and also to submit the work. For example, I give in this assignment, I ask the students to open the video first. So I make a video on YouTube. I ask them to open the video, and then I ask them to make the video on their own and submit it. And this is the result of their submission. Yeah, I just need to check, and then I will give them score here, and I send it back to students, and they will see their score. So this is Google Classroom. Some schools maybe have their own platform like learning management system. This is just one of them. And then I will also show you another platform later. So let's now return to our presentation first. For spin the wheels, you can just browse spin the wheels, and then there are so many platforms that can be used. Tasmos, we use Tasmos for assessment and test. Yeah. With this application with Tasmos, we can see whether a student is opening Tasmos only or whether they open other tab, for example. So if they open other tab, we can notice it from the Tasmos. Quizlet is good to teach vocabulary. I do use Quizlet to teach vocabulary because it has flashcards. So these are the examples of the platforms to be used. And now let's move to the next discussion. But before we move on, do you want to give any comment or question?
Iya, sebelum dia
Any comment about our discussion of digital platforms?
I think you can go ahead.
Okay. Thank you. Now let's get back to the skills of English teachers. I'm trying to collect some of the vacancy of English teachers. Yeah. One is from International Islamic School. This is from other country. One is from a National Plus school in Surabaya or SPK school. Yeah. And this one is from Al-Azhar, from my institution. Now, of course, when they require English teacher, they will ask you to have this requirement. For example, English teachers. You have to graduate from English department. You have to be proficient in English, spoken and written English. It's a must, of course. So the first requirement will be always related to your skill. Yeah. Also this one, bachelor degree in the field of study. All of it. Menguasai bidangnya. All of them will require you to be good, and usually is proven with your GPA. But that's not the only one. Yeah. A modern classroom needs these qualities of teachers. Look at this. Honest, teamwork, good communication skills, open-minded, resourceful, energetic. And then, aktif berbahasa Inggris. Please take a look at this. None of this position needs English teachers. They are not looking for English teacher, but why? They require candidate who can speak English.
Miss
This is-
Devi, the slide is still on.
Oh, sorry. Wait. Sorry. My bad. How about now?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let me back here. Look at this. They need guru olahraga, PE teacher, kindergarten teacher, counselor, and religion teacher. But in their requirement, they also want candidate who can speak English actively. You see? And then for this vacancy, they want candidate who is honest, have a good teamwork, good communication skill, open-minded, resourceful, and energetic. Yeah. So these are the trends of modern teachers' requirement. For example, if you want to be a teacher, you have to prepare from now. What skills will you need in the future to be able to be qualified in whatever institutions you want to apply? Usually, today's modern classrooms, they need teachers who are active, who can have a good teamwork, and also good communication skill. Of course, because you are a teacher, you have to be good at communication. And this one, I want to talk about this. Today, there are so many schools who add international curriculum in their curriculum system. Ya, seperti ini. Like, they only want PE teacher, they want kindergarten teacher, they want counselor teacher, and they want religion teacher. But they also require them to be able to speak English. Jadi, we as English teachers, we have to be better, right? If these teachers are good at English, how about English teacher? Of course, we have to be a lot better than them. And this has also happened to my school. Whenever we open the recruitment, we always want candidates who are good at English also. So this is my experience when I was hired by Al-Azhar. I had interview and I had to teach in front of the students as part of the recruitment stage. Yeah, this is where usually the candidates fail, because like you are a fresh graduate, for example. You probably do not have a lot of experience of teaching before, maybe only from your PPL, maybe from the experience of teaching private student, for example. How are you going to be good in teaching demo? You have to teach in front of the principal. You have to teach in front of the vice principal, in front of the staff of HRD or human research, who will see whether you're good enough or not. That is beyond the test. Yeah. So this is probably what you have to pay attention. Your performance have to be good from the beginning. But what if we don't have teaching experience? You can still have these skills by, for example, joining public speaking course, by joining some competitions maybe, or maybe why not having your own YouTube platform and try to speak up in front of the camera and see how people react about it. That is one of the ways how you can improve your performance. Yeah, because you have to have teaching. Okay. And then once you're entering the unit, maybe you will not directly have your own class. You will start by assisting. Just do it, because this will also help you to improve yourself, to know the system of the school and to know how the classes go. Yeah, but you need to prepare for this. Why? Because I had this and also I have this now. This happened to me 10 years ago. Can you imagine? How about in the modern life? Maybe they will also test you to use some IT platforms. They want to see you teaching with IT platforms, because that's also what I do now to the candidate. Okay, I have shown this earlier. How my English classes go. So let me show you some. You saw my Google Classroom, and I want to show you this. I will show it later. As a vice principal, I also now do hiring. Yeah, so when we need teacher, usually the human resource department will refer the candidates to me, so I can see these teachers doing the teaching practice. Of course, if I look for English teacher, I will need the teachers to have this, as I said before, the knowledge of English, the knowledge of the materials, and the way to deliver the materials. But I will also find this. Yeah. How do I get this? I will have some interview. And I also sometimes see the communication skills from the teaching. We always have the candidate of teacher to do teaching first. Yeah. Teamwork. We will ask we will see from the CV also what kind of activities you do while you were a university student. So if you are a university student and you want to plan for your work, you'd better check your CV. You have to start to check your CV. What can you provide? What kind of personal branding you can offer to the institution who will hire you? What kind of demand do you think you can give to the institution that you will try to apply? Have this for yourself in addition to this, because it is a combination. Yeah, if you have this and you want to try to apply for English teacher, of course you will need to have to pass the administration stage. You will have interview. In my school, there are 2 interviews. The first one is with human resource department. And after you pass the teaching, if you make it to teaching demo, because not all participants will have this. Once you have this, you will have also interview, usually with me in my school. And from 2 candidates or 3 candidates, of course, we will only choose one. And this one is the person who will have the combination of this: IT, knowledge, skills, quality, and the last one is placement, of course. If you pass it, you still have also OJT or on-job training. Only if you pass it, then you can become part of the team. That is in my school. So this is how the skills related to work and the demand. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Ms. Devi. Now, time for question. There are some questions here. The first from Umi Rasida. Mbak Umi?
Okay. Sorry, it's still Adhan here. Can I stop for a while?
Okay. Nggak ada. Ini nggak ada. Ini sudah ada sinar blok kan? Saya bacakan aja ya. Tidak apa-apa dipanggil aja, Mbak.
Okay, before I answer the question, this is what I wanted to show in the beginning. This is how I have my class going. Yeah, I like to have drama in my class. Once when we were celebrating Idul Adha, I had my students to perform English drama and it was in English. Yeah, so sometimes I do drama. And then debate or speech is also part of my English class. I did it when we had online class, yeah. And then debate also. This is the test. So there are some activities that I do in my class, not only teaching, but also showing the products of my teaching. And like this. Sometimes for primary 4, sometimes storytelling. And sometimes in our school event, we also perform the drama. For example, this one, The Battle of Surabaya is an English drama, but it's about Surabaya. So you can still talk about Indonesian culture or Indonesian history, but in English. With this, it can motivate the students to improve their English, and because they know that we can use the English in daily conversation and people will see it. There are so many ways we can do. Sometimes they perform in front of the friends. Sometimes we have group drama or poetry reading. Nah, all of these are done in English. So well, that's one of them. And in the classroom now for online class, I have this. Still with Google Classroom, I have the students to do the storytelling and they upload it here. So these are some of the platforms that we can use or ways that we can use to motivate our students in English. Okay, so now let's move to the questions.
Yeah, Mbak Umi Rashida. Are you there?
Okay, Umi Rashida, yeah. Number 1, how to deal with poor internet connection. Yes, thank you. This is something that I probably do not have in my class. And number 2, how to make an effective online teaching with those platforms. Mostly we offer the material and the task via WhatsApp. As a teacher, I feel unhappy because the learning process is less effective. Okay, I will answer number 1 first. I think it's quite challenging indeed for many teachers with facilities, with low facilities of internet. But I will say it also happened to us. I told you in the beginning of my presentation. In semester 1, before we had this academic year, in semester 2, we did not have any platforms to use. We only send the task to the student and they submit the task to us. Even many of our parents also do not have good internet connection. So because we did not also have the meeting like with Gmeet or with Zoom. So it's a challenge. But what I did was sometimes I had writing. I had the students write and then I asked them to submit the writing, but still I give comment. I like to use voice note. Yeah. So in the past, even until now, sometimes when I comment to my students' work, I use voice note. So it can be, it's not a live teaching, but this will be stored by the students. I think you can do that. Maybe the students can open it while they have good internet connection. You can also make some notes on their writing. So usually I will open their writing. They take a photo of their writing and then submit it to me, right? And then I will use an application or photo editing to just notes what they need to fix, and you can still do it. But it takes time indeed. Jadi kalau you have the problem with internet connection, do not give a lot of tasks. It's better for you to give 1 or 2, but then you really do something with that task. You give comment, you make interaction with the students. So it's better to have 1, but with engagement rather than to give a lot without engagement. But don't worry, it also happened to me in the last academic year. So we can still do it with whatever we have. With WhatsApp, for example, it will be delayed, but you can still send comments or draw something that you can give to the student. How to make an effective online teaching with those platforms? Okay, this can be very detailed. I can share with you later personally if you want to. If you want to try, you can contact me later. I will have my contact to be shared. Yes, it's not fun to only send questions to WhatsApp and etc. Meanwhile, there are so many platforms we can use. Quizlet can be so fun to teach vocabulary, and the students can get the results directly and they can retake the test. So you need to learn some platforms. If you have limitation to have face-to-face meeting like this through the screen virtually online, you can just send the link to the students and let the students do it, and you can check later. Okay. And then I think that's the question. Is there any more? Oh yeah, now I will share you my contact if you want to discuss about your class teaching with me. Hang on for a while. You can chat me in this number through WhatsApp. Is it okay for me to share my contact, Miss Dwi?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. If you need further discussion about the use of platforms for teaching, like what I showed you earlier, you can contact me in 087-852-500-566 or email through ekad87@gmail.com. Hopefully I can help you with your English class.
Well, okay, maybe any question from the audience? We still have time.
Ada di UN.
Let check. Let's check. Well, we have here from chat a question. Ms. Devi, in your opinion, what is actually a professional teacher? And then what qualities should a professional teacher have?
Okay. Oh, sorry, I see this comment. I think there are students in the city and the modern school. It is hard for students who live in the village to join actively in online learning. Yeah. Yeah, you can still do it, but so maybe what you can consider about the problem with connection is the time pace. You cannot expect to give a lot to the students, but improve the quality. So instead of the quantity, think of the quality. You can do a lot of things with one topic. So this topic can be in the form of speaking and then writing, and you can still see their submission, yeah, and give comment on that. Sorry, Miss, the question about the quality of teachers.
Yeah. What is actually a professional teacher? And then what is qualities should a professional teacher have?
Okay. From my experience, yeah, you have to be a good communicator. You know why? Because in an institution now, it's very common for us to have now cross subjects cooperation. For example, in project weeks, yeah, let's talk about at school. English will be a medium for a lot of lessons. So we need to collaborate. This collaboration, this communication skills are the quality that a teacher must have. You cannot work on your own. You cannot just have yourself with yourself. You have to be able to collaborate with the homeroom teachers, with the parents, with the students, with other teachers to create a meaningful learning. This meaningful learning is something that you have to think. So you do not only think that I teach English for English, but you have to think how this English can be used by your students in other fields, in the real life situation. That is, I think, what makes you a good teacher is when you see your students can apply what you give to them in the real life situation. Does it answer your question? And sometimes like this, in my experience, sometimes we also have collaboration with other schools. Like last 2 weeks, we had collaboration with Surabaya Japanese School. And the only language we could use that time was English, because we do not speak Japanese and they do not speak Indonesian. So we did only with English. This kind of collaboration is important. If you as teacher cannot make collaboration with other schools or for example other institution, you will not be able to give experience to your students. Meanwhile, your students need a real life situation for their English. They have to know, why do I learn English? Put them in the situation when they use their English. That's what makes you, I think, a good English teacher.
Well, yeah. I'm interested with the collaboration of the school. Yeah, maybe it can be solutions for the school who have limited experience or others. So we have another question here, Ms. Devi, that you know that the teacher should take PPG or else PLPG, right? To be certified teacher. And then do you agree that a teacher is level professional after taking PPG or PLPG? What do you think about that?
Let me tell you the situation in my school. I myself hasn't joined PPG. Yes, I've been teaching for 10 years and I haven't joined PPG myself. And only like 4 or 5 teachers in my school have joined PPG. But to be honest, PPG or things like that is not a priority in our school, miss. Instead, we push our teachers to join like Cambridge certification, and everyone in our school has finally have to have this Cambridge certificates because this is the requirement that we have because of the needs of our school. Yeah, of course, every school has different needs. But talking about quality, I would say no single certification will decide your quality. Your quality takes time. Your quality will be seen by the students. Your quality will be proven by your students. I think that's what I can say. But don't feel apa ya? Don't think that PPG or Cambridge or whatever it is the only one, because I myself, I have a lot of trainings, but it's not the training that makes me, it's how I develop myself and how I apply what I get from the training into my class and how I see it through my students. I think that's how I see it.
Okay. I'm still interested with the collaboration. How in this pandemic we can collaborate with another school?
Okay, so this is what we did last month. Last month we had a visit from Japanese school, so it was them who offered us, and they offered us to have online learning like this for 1.5 hour. So what we did was like this. Actually, if you want to do that, you can just send a proposal. Make the proposal interesting, so the institution you will collaborate with will have consideration about it. And then you also have to set an interesting activity. Usually it should be something that is profitable for both sides. The Japanese school wants to know about Indonesian school. And for our students, of course, it's interesting to know, to meet students from, the real students from Japan. And we don't need to go to Japan, right? So we think that this is mutually beneficial. And then we set the activity. It was me from my school and it was someone from Japanese school. So we arranged the activities. Our schools have presentation and dancing and singing with traditional songs. Also, they do. But we do it online like this. So it's possible.
Yeah. So,
Uh-huh.
okay, that's very interesting. We have another question here on a Zoom from Agus Solihin. Agus, Mr. Agus Solihin.
Okay.
Mr. Agus, maybe he will tell directly to you.
Okay. So actually the problem with game doesn't only happen to students with low internet facility. Yeah. Even my students, can you imagine sometimes we have report, the students open Gmeet on their camera, but they also open game. So this is indeed a phenomenon. And many parents also, some parents also ask us how to deal with this. Well, it's quite hard for teachers because we are not with them. So, but what we can do is this, it's how you set your classroom. Don't be the single speaker in your classroom. So how you design the activities for your classroom maybe can minimize the possibility of the students to be engaged more on the game. Of course, they will be there because the gadget is in their hand. You cannot control it, right? What you can do is only control through your activities. That's why in my classroom, we have 45 minutes meeting in every class. I will speak like maybe 5 minutes, and then I will give chit chat with the students. I will call them in random, or I will give them a text and pick them up in random, or I will give them a game like the wheel spin. It will pick up the students in random. Yeah, that is the example when you have online class like this. But if you are only with WhatsApp, you cannot control them, I can say. But with Gmeet, you can still do something. It is the design of your activity. Do not be the single speaker. Do not talk too much. Because it's also not good. If you talk too much, it means you are teacher-centered. Yeah, you have to make your class student-centered. So design your class that allows the students to get engaged. But what we do in our school is also communication with parents. Yeah, we have homeroom teacher who will talk to the parents. For example, if one student, we don't see him very active, for example, or we see that he is doing something else in the lesson, or for example, we see him going in and out quite often in the class, we will speak about that to the parents. That helps to answer. Yes. How to make the students more active in online classroom? First of all, it's an effort, even in my class. Yeah, sometimes I have to call them. Sometimes you have to use something that is interesting for them. There are so many platforms you can use, like Kahoot. You can give quiz through Kahoot. My students in lower grade really loves Kahoot. Yeah, you can also learn how to use Kahoot. And the wheel spinning, also you can use it. And random calling, you can also use it. Just design your class as interesting as possible. And because it's online, platforms will really help. Like if you show everyone on the screen, remember when I give you the whiteboard, of course, everyone wants to engage, right? They do not see their name on the screen. When you give quiz of Kahoot, for example, they want to know what score do I achieve. My friend's name are there. How about my name? If you show your students' achievements on the screen, I believe that they will be more engaged in the activity.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, quizzes too. Yeah, some of my teachers also use quizzes in the beginning, but now we move to Tasmos for the test. And lower economy joining online class, yes, but Mr. Agus, in the last academic year, we also did not have, even with this high economy level, we did not have online class. We only use WhatsApp that time, but we tried to create the activity, and that's what I say. Low number of activities or assignment, but with engagement. So you can give comment, you can give voice note to them. Your voice note will not be read by them every day, but this engagement will make them more, they feel that you pay attention on them. and you give individual attention to the students. I think you can try that because I did that. So I did give comment one-on-one to the student. Sometimes with voice notes, sometimes I write on their work. But then they will know that we pay attention to them. I think that's all, Miss Dwi. Okay, I think there's no more question. I will give the time back to Miss Dwi.
Well, okay, a very interesting topic that we have today. Do we have still another questions, the audience? We're still waiting. Or is it enough? I think the time is, time is over. Maybe Miss Devin will say something for the last to conclude this presentation.
Yes, it's always challenging to be a teacher because every year you will face different type of students, different curriculum maybe, or different changes of era. Like now, we never thought that we're going to be in this situation, right? But this adaptation, ability to adapt is something that we must have. And we always have to always upgrade ourselves and do not always think of the obstacles. Yeah, like what happened in our school. No matter we were in the city, but with the first hit of the pandemic, we were becoming a traditional school also. Like it took us like 2 or 3 months to finally get something to be given to the students. But I learned that in that situation, I played with WhatsApp, I played with noting on the students' work. I also do voice note. It was very conventional, right? But giving attention to the student is something that we can give despite the internet limitation. Even why not you give voice note and then let the students repeat what you say. Okay, today we're going to learn about the pronunciation or this vocabulary. Can you repeat after me, guys? Adventure. Let the students do it with voice note. It's very conventional, but you give attention to the students. I think you can try that. But of course, it will take your time and patience.
Yeah, not simple to be a teacher. We have to active. I can see that.
Yeah, we will always find a way. We will always find a way. If you fail with this way, try another way, and another way, and another way. That's all I can say.
Yeah. Well, okay, thank you, Ms. Devi.
Yeah.
I hope our webinar today useful for others, especially for the teachers, and then we get a lot of information. And so thank you very much. And then
you're welcome.
I think for today's and then for the audience, you can fill the link of the attendance list in the link of chat. Okay, and then if you want to ask more, Ms. Devi open the question to the via WhatsApp, right, Ms. Devi? Yeah. Well,
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And then we will. Okay, thank you very much. That's all for today. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Buka logam.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Saya Karnadi selaku rektor UNAS mengajak masyarakat untuk bergabung dengan UNAS.
Universitas Abdurrahman Saleh Situbondo atau dikenal dengan UNAS berdiri pada 15 Agustus 19
Mbak Devi, thank you very much. See you soon.
Thank you very much. My school. Go to Surabaya. It's just 5 minutes from Kenjaran. If you want more about it.
Okay. If you go to Banyuwangi, please drop by.
Yeah, I remember you've been asking me to stop by.
Yeah, 4 years already.
Yeah.
That is the promise you have been keeping for.
Maybe I'm waiting for to take my 2 children.
Okay.
I want to say thanks to Miss Dwi for moderating the event.
Yeah. Miss Dwi is here.
What?
Itu kemarin itu kayak.
How do I send the presentation? What was it? Ada yang minta apa tadi ya?
Oh, bisa. You can send it. Oh, wait. We'll do it. Karena dikirim kan? We'll do it for you, but wait.
Or maybe you can send it.
Yeah, wait. We can do it for you. Ya kan? Kan apa nih? Iya. Materi.
Yeah, the file of the material. You send it, right?
Yes, I will. Okay.
Thank you for spending your time with me.
Thank you for sharing with us.
Very interesting topic, actually.
Well, actually, there are so many explorers in the school, especially in the modern era. Because I was myself surprised when I first came to this school. Like I thought it was like my school in the village, right? And then I found out that everything is totally different. The way we talk to the parents, the way we talk to the students, the way the students talk to us. You don't put yourself as a teacher, and the students are students like, I am your teacher. No, they will think that sometimes you are the friends, and just can talk to you so casually, and you have to find the best way to answer them with their language, but still showing that I am the teacher to be respected by you. That is the big challenge also here. And also the activities, if you know what primary students or junior high school students can do, not like us.
You still